Weather Lab. Here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back. Well, typical summer pattern next couple of days, but changes on the way as we head into the weekend as we watch a disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico. Plus, it's also hurricane week at KATC, and that is fortuitous as we're looking at a tropical system perhaps moving into the Gulf later this week. But first off, I want to go back and show you Hurricane Harvey. This is the worst storm that hit the U.S. last year for sure. It went from a tropical depression, which you saw at the beginning of this loop, to a tropical storm inside of a day, and then a major hurricane to a Category 4 storm just 44 hours after it emerged in the Gulf of Mexico. Made landfall north of Corpus Christi, and then all the action was with that heavy rainfall that developed over by Houston and then over toward Beaumont. I mean, days and days. This is a 6-day loop here showing Harvey, and some of those rains did move into Louisiana, but we got off relatively scot-free with this storm, with the heaviest rainfalls concentrating from Beaumont back to Houston. At the end of this loop, more heavy rains for the Beaumont area. Things came to a screeching halt by Wednesday as the system moved across Louisiana, but just a shell of what it was. Now, let's look at the rainfall with Harvey. Set all sorts of records in around the Houston area. Rainfall totals pushing 40-50 inches of rain in around the Houston area, and then over toward Beaumont, about 64.5 inches in the Nederland region of southeast Texas. Locally, we did see a swath into Calcasieu Parish of nearly 20 inches of rain, but certainly a close call. Now, as I mentioned earlier at 5 o'clock, Hurricanes Irma, Jose, Maria, all blockbuster storms, and so is Harvey with respect to its rainfall and damage down toward Rockport. Is there anything going on with climate that relates to this? And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that tonight at 10. As for the local weather, just a scattering and smattering of showers and storms for today. Just a couple of isolated cells still on the radar. Nice little thunder shower over by the Wilderness Trail area east of Carencro and then drifting northward. So still the risk of an isolated storm or two. A little bit of a complex, same spot as yesterday essentially between Morgan City, Amelia, and Stevensville. A couple of isolated storms there. So let's move ahead, take a look at the easy stuff. Overnight tonight, fair skies, maybe a passing shower overnight at about 10%. We saw that last night. And then tomorrow afternoon with daytime heating, we're going to see a scattering of showers and storms, and especially into the late afternoon. So I'm upping the rain chances 40-50% for tomorrow. Much the same is going to play for Thursday. Then we're watching what's going on out in the tropics. As we opened it on up, we have a little bit of an area of disturbed weather, lots of deep tropical moisture in the central western Caribbean. We think there's an area of low pressure right here, but it is very weak. But the National Hurricane Center recognizing that and does forecast this to possibly develop a medium chance of development this week. But the main damage with this system is not going to be a tropical depression or maybe weak tropical storm or subtropical hybrid. It's going to be the rainfall and the moisture. And here's the latest European model. This is the 12Z run showing that deep tropical moisture working its way northward toward the end of the week. Then going into the weekend, very heavy rains, Florida back all the way through western portions of Louisiana. And if a low does develop, it's going to move inland and then it's going to meander. So look at this heavy rainfall threat perhaps over. This is the European model. It's just a model. It's just guidance, but it shows a lot of that deep tropical moisture festering around and moving, perhaps drifting westward into Acadiana Tuesday, perhaps Wednesday of next week. So we're not out of the woods yet, and we're going to have to watch this. It's just the 7-day rain total through next Tuesday, but we may look for some of this deeper moisture, 3 to 4 or 5, up to 7 or 8 inches, isolated areas, double off to the east of us. So we do think it's going to be very wet eastern Gulf of Mexico, but some of that moisture and the threat of heavy rains could be moving into Acadiana later into next week, and that's why I have some pretty high rain chances in that 10-day forecast. Low to mid 70s tonight, upper 80s to lower 90s for tomorrow. So a few showers early, warm and humid, then maybe an isolated shower or storm overnight. 73 the low, 91 the high tomorrow. better chance of those scattered afternoon storms. And then as we move ahead, little change Thursday, then rain chances trying to creep upward, but they really don't get high until Sunday and continuing into early next week. And I'm basing this off our gold star standard of the European model for right now. The GFS model, as I mentioned online, has got all sorts of issues going with it. So this is the best data we have right now. Be on the lookout for the threat of heavy rains locally early next week, starting Memorial Day, maybe as early as late Sunday, but continuing over to about Wednesday. And we all know stalling systems are bad systems,
we don't like those.
as we showed with Hurricane Harvey last year and the 2016 flood of 2 years ago.
All right, thanks, Rob.
Still ahead on KATC, Baton Rouge officials are taking